Hello everyone, welcome back to this series where I teach you organic chemistry and you listen to get those A stars. Today's lecture is going to be about nomenclature, and this is a very important topic if you want to succeed in O-level chemistry. Now listen carefully. I will explain it to you in detail, and by the end of this video you'll be able to understand everything clearly and you'll be able to decode any organic compound. Give me 7 minutes and I explain this topic to you completely. First of all, before we get into it, you have to understand that there are some things that are compulsory before heading forward in this chapter, is that knowing these naming systems. So compounds with one carbon is called meth, those with two are called eth, three prop, four bute, five pent, six hex, and so on. Then there are some families such as alkanes are gonna be named anes like methane, ethane, propane. Alkenes are gonna end with enes such as ethene, propene, butene. Alcohols will end with ols like methanol, ethanol, propanol, and carboxylic acids in the end are going to end with oic acid such as methanoic acid, ethanoic acid, propanoic acid. Now heading on towards the rules. So there are three rules that I like to remember in order to correctly identify a compound. The first one is count the carbon atoms and find the longest chain. So I'm just going to write this, find the longest chain. Now what I mean by this is that there's going to be a series of carbons in a chain. For example, let's see, this is a compound, right? I'm just going to write these dashes. I'm not going to write the hydrogens because it takes up a lot of time. So first of all, we find the longest chain, right? What's the longest chain over here? Obviously this one, because there's three carbons in here. Okay, when I talk about the longest chain, I mean carbons, nothing else. So there's three carbons right here. Now as we know, the name of a three carbon compound is always going to be prop. So it's going to be prop something, propane, propene, anything, right? We don't know that yet. Now next what I like to do is to find the family of the organic compound. I'm just gonna write it down. Find the family. What I mean by the find the family is that you should take a look if there's a double bond in between here. See, as you can see, there's a single bond between carbon atoms. So that means it's an alkane. It's clear cut. So we simply write this over here that it's an alkane. You know, this is for our help only. Okay, you don't have to write this in the exam. If you can do it mentally, it's very well. Next part after this is going to be that we have to name any extra or functional group attached. So name any functional group. Over here, fortunately or unfortunately, there are no extra functional groups attached. All are hydrogens in these empty dashes, right? So it's fairly simple. What the name of this compound might be is pro pain. Okay, so this was very simple. Now let's move on to some harder examples. I'm going to draw in front of them and we're going to name them together. Okay, so now take a look at this. Again, we follow the rules. Okay, so first of all, what's the longest chain? Obviously this one. Okay, so how many carbons are in there? One, two, three, four. So we write bute over here as a four carbon. Now I told you that we take a look at the chain and find the family. What family is here? This, you can see there's a double bond between two carbons, so it's an alkene. So we write here. Uh, so we write an alkene over here, alkene. Next, we name any other functional groups. Well, now you can see there's no other functional groups. These are all hydrogens. So it's fairly simple. Okay, but now we have to number them because we cannot simply just say butene. We have to write either but1-ene or but2-ene. And how we might do that? We have to number the compound from the closest side, which contains the family. So if you take a look, we have to number it like 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, the alpha carbon has to be closest to the end. And now you can see this is the alpha carbon. So this is number 1, and so we write but1-ene. Now, why could we number from this side? See, we could have done like 1, 2, 3, 4. We started from the left side. The reason is that, as I already told you, that the alpha carbon must be the closest, alpha carbon must be the lowest number. Let me just write that down. It's a very important part. So alpha carbon must have the lowest possible number. Okay, so now that's clear. We can easily name our compound. So what might the name be? As I told you, this is attached with the first carbon, and second carbon we'll just write but 1 in. Remember to put these dashes between numbers and letters, okay? You have to add these dashes between them, otherwise it will be considered incorrect. Now let's take a look at some few more examples. So first of all, we take this. All right, now take a look. How many carbons? 4 carbons. But. Any double bonds? No, it's an alkane, okay? And you see any functional groups? Yes, there is a functional group. That's alcohol functional group. Okay. Now we start numbering. As I told you, the alpha carbon is the one that is the most important, which is bonded to a family or a group, something like that. So obviously this is going to be the alpha carbon, and this you have to give this the lowest number possible. What might that be? If you start from the right side, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this the lowest? No, not really. If you start from the left side, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this the lowest? Yes, technically it is the lowest because any lower than this, and we will not be able to get the correct compound. So, and now that we've established that this is the lowest, we're just going to write this down 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and we also write here alcohol because so we know that alcohol is a functional group. Alk is equal to function. This is just all for your help. You don't have to write this in the paper. I'm just doing this to teach you. So, what might be its name? We'll write butane 2-ol. Why? Because why the butane part? Because as I already told you, this four carbons over here. Why the ol? Because there's alcohol over here, right? And why the two? Because it's bonded to the second carbon, which is the alpha carbon. So that's butane 2-ol. Well, everybody, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this and I hope you found this useful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I'll try to answer them. Till then, guys, best of luck and goodbye.